In the next half an hour, it's all about secrets. We meet the Northumberland dog whisperer, who says his methods mean dangerous dogs should be given a second chance.
People always say to me, you know, you can't save them all. And my comeback to that is always, well, yeah, but the day I stop trying to save them all is the day I need to pack it in, basically.
I'm Chris Jackson, and this is Inside Out. They say man's best friend, but attacks by dogs all too often hit the headlines. And for some, the only answer is to put down apparently dangerous animals. But there's one charity in Northumberland that believes no dog should ever be sent to death row. A park in Blythe, spring 2016. What happened here was every parent's nightmare.
It's horrible. I've seen like all the kids who had been bit lying on the floor, and I panicked straight away because I couldn't see Katie anywhere.
Me and a group of friends were just in the park playing normally, and I think the dog was trying to catch the ball that like Clara had got and accidentally bit her and then got the taste of blood and then went like rampage on all the other kids. And then she was on the floor, the dog was like dragging her around like a rag doll. I ran over and I kicked the dog and then it got off Clara. And then I picked Clara up and took her to her home. She was covered in blood.
Katie put her own life in danger. That dog could have viciously attacked Katie, could have jumped up at her neck or anything.
The dog bit 11 children that day. Its owner will appear in court later this year.
I know like I didn't get bit, but like right after the dog attack I was actually like scared of some staffies. I try and not think about it just to like get over it, but say if I walk past the park I would get the vision of what happened, which is a bit scary.
That dog was destroyed, but I'm off to meet a man who believes that not all aggressive animals should be put down.
I'm Stephen Wiley. I'm founder of SHAK, which is a sanctuary for abused, mistreated and neglected dogs.
Stephen reckons SHAK in Alnwick has taken in more than 1,000 dogs since it opened 11 years ago.
But we get a lot from vets that have been booked in to get put to sleep. Now again, that could be behavioural problems, it could be health problems, it could be a change of circumstances. We take in the dogs that nobody else will take in. I think the whole dog rescue industry, for want of a better word, it's just completely saturated now. You know, there's so many strays. Dogs have become like disposable items. And that's why the incidents occurred. So it's actually putting some work in with the dog and trying to correct its problems rather than just writing it off and putting it to sleep.
Stephen's latest recruit. When this staffy arrived, he was aggressive, shaken and very scared.
I remember the public found him in a field and his collar was actually round, so he was wearing it like a sash basically across there. So he'd obviously been trying to escape from somewhere. He's not in the greatest condition. He's shown a lot of fear, aggression. It's just a case of building up trust for him now, really, and trying to let him know that he's not going to be hurt.
Stephen gets some of his dogs from this Tyneside vets practice. It sends on average 1 or 2 unwanted pets every month up to SHAK.
Before I met Steve, in situations where I felt that perhaps in the right situation that animal could be saved, we did go down the route of euthanasia, and we see Steve really and the work he does almost as our safety net for those animals.
But are there some dogs that you think actually, even with Steve's help, can't be saved?
Unfortunately, the answer to that question is yes. There are some dogs that are so aggressive and too damaged to be rehabilitated.
Well, Steve believes all dogs can be saved, so how do you agree to disagree?
We know each other very well, and he respects my opinions and vice versa. Steve is ever an optimist, which is brilliant, but we have to take into consideration the public health side of things and public safety. We need to think very carefully that if we rehome a dog that potentially could bite somebody, that really is our responsibility to make that judgment.
The Dangerous Dog Act makes it an offence to have a dog dangerously out of control in a public place. Both the owner and whoever's in charge of the animal at the time can be held responsible. The law also bans certain breeds. There's the Pit Bull Terrier, the Dogo Argentino, the Fila Brasileiro and the Japanese Tosa. We asked our police forces how many dogs had been seized under the Dangerous Dogs Act. And across our region, 365 dogs were detained in the past 4 years. Most of those were in County Durham. 126 dogs had to be destroyed. But dog wardens don't just come across dangerous animals. Each year, they pick up hundreds of strays.
We're going to pick 2 dogs up. We're Little Staffordshire Bull Terrier and our Lurcher. See what condition our Staffordshire Bull Terrier is in, then make a decision from there as to what we're going to do. Should we make some inquiries into the Lurcher as to whether he's safe to go back to his home or whether he needs to go elsewhere.
In the last year, 730 strays have been reported in Northumberland alone.
We get a lot of dogs through the doors. Some of them are just generally lost that go back to their owners. Unfortunately, we do get a lot of dogs in poor condition. Sorry guys, I'm blocking your view. We are protected, we are trained, but 90% of the time the dog is acting dangerous because it is terrified, it is just fear.
The Lurcher was reunited with its owner. But it wasn't a happy ending for the little Staffy. Sadly, she was put down.
The owners have made that decision due to her age and her body condition.
Back at SHAK, the snappy Staffy seems to have turned a corner. He now has a name, Jed. 3 weeks ago, whatever it was, you wouldn't be doing this right now, would you?
No, definitely. I mean, you just couldn't touch them. It was as simple as that. You touched them and there was a howl and a full-on lunge for you, really.
So is this better than you're expecting in terms of right now to progress?
I think it is, to be honest. Just makes you wonder how frightened he must have actually been, you know, to see such a difference in his whole demeanour.
Can we ever be certain, though, that Jed won't revert back to how he was when he first arrived?
I think it's something, obviously, you can never say never. I think he was just absolutely terrified.
Are all dogs redeemable, then?
I think every dog's redeemable to a level. I don't believe every dog's going to end up curled up on a sofa. But yeah, I think they're capable of having a quality of life. You know, deep down, they don't want much. They just need fed twice a day or whatever, a little bit of exercise and a little bit of comfort. And I think the line that people always say to me is, you know, you can't help them all, or you can't save them all. And my comeback to that is always, well, yeah, but the day I stop trying to save them all is the day I need to pack it in, basically.
Good boy. Jed's final test. Can he help Katie overcome her nervousness of Staffy's after her ordeal in the park?
All right. Yeah, this is Jed.
Hello.
Hey, Jed.
Hey.
Hey, little man.
Uh-oh.
Careful.
Hello.
Jed.
You all?
You all right? You get you?
He didn't get his look. There's nothing there. Nothing there.
It just shows again that he is damaged by what's happened to him in the past. It's a big step for him, you know. Just coming out and seeing so many people again, I think, yeah.
Doesn't bother us. I'd do it again. At the end of the day, he's been badly abused, and Steve's doing an amazing job.
Do you think it's maybe just too early, too soon, really, to trust a dog like this now?
I've learned that she needs, I think, just a little bit more time. Yeah. She'll be fine. As will Jed in time as well.
Jed might not be ready for a stroke and a cuddle, but Katie's happy to meet Steve's other dogs. But what's next for Jed? Will he ever find a new home?
I think so, yeah. I think, you know, if we go back to the original time where you couldn't physically touch him, I thought at that point there wasn't a hope at all for him. The fact that he's here and meeting people and saying all these things, I think he's done both himself and us proud, to be honest. So, what's your view? Untamable or simply hard done by? Let me know your thoughts. My email and Twitter details are on screen now. Next Monday, he's certainly got more than one look, but then he's looking to help men find more than one wife. I'll see you next Monday. Till then, from Durham, good night.